Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Real Sports Scope. I'm your host, Robert Butler, on this second day of July. I got a great show with you on for tonight. How bad was the Jaylen Brown trade for the Celtics? Going to talk about that, hopefully, with Mad New Yorker coming up here in just a little bit and give you my opinion as well. Lakers get make some trades there. Get everything squared away. And of course, the big headline is the United States will advance to the Sweet 16, although they don't qualify as that type of terms in World Cup. I just like to use those NCAA basketball terms. So stand by. We'll take our first and only break, and I'll be back here momentarily. It looks like the Mad New Yorker here on the Real Sports Scope. Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to sports, that is sports with an S, another S, scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program. Okay, folks. So the big headline is the United States gets the 2-0 win and gets into the Sweet 16 over Bosnia, with Florian Balogun getting the first goal after the first start, but later gets a red card foul, and he's going to be in a bang-bang play, and he's going to be suspended for the next match against Belgium. Bad New Yorker popped up, and then he fell out. I don't know what happened there, Carlos. But anyways, okay, so I'll go ahead and play this clip, and if Mad New Yorker comes back up, I'll play it again. But here's the clip in real time and then in slow motion of what got one of the better players on the United States men's World Cup soccer team suspended for the next game.
Bosnia-Herzegovina. Balogun again, and Muharremovich, both are down. Muharremovich.
The number 20 United States committee serious foul.
Yeah, it's going to be a red card.
Okay, folks, I'm going to go ahead and bring up the Mad New Yorker. We'll watch this clip together here. Hey, Carlos. I was playing this clip for everybody. See what you think. Get your opinion on this. Was this worthy of a red card, and now 1 game suspension? Watch.
Bosnia-Herzegovina. Balogun again, and Muharremovich, both are down. Muharremovich.
The number 20 United States committee serious foul.
Yeah, it's going to be a red card.
The final decision is red card.
Wow.
What's one more?
Balogun again, and Muharremovich, both are down. Muharremovich.
The number 20 United States committee serious foul.
Yeah, it's going to be a red card.
The final decision is red card.
Wow.
I mean, it looked like a bang-bang play to me in real time. The ball's in play. They're both going for the ball. It doesn't look like a foul to me. What's your thoughts on that, man?
I mean, there's the problem in this tournament and in some of these huge tournaments to qualify for the World Cup beforehand is the inconsistencies of the calls, especially in something in this manner. The player wasn't attacking they were going for they both were going for the ball. So it would have been different had he just been directly kind of like when you spear somebody in football. If he was doing that would have been different. So it's granted, it's a foul, but it should have been a yellow card, if anything, because of the fact that it wasn't malice. It wasn't malicious. It wasn't something that the player intended to do. So they need to fix that. There's a lot of these calls that didn't happen or did happen, and they were either carded or just given a free kick. So there just needs to be more consistency, and then they need to let all the players and coaches know. Listen, it's part of the game, So you just gotta. If it happens to you, it's just something that everybody should have be on the same page about. So, and that's the biggest issue, I think. And this point of the game, it takes out one of the best players that the U.S. has, as far as that starts. It's an important player on the team, and it's not a good. It's not even good for him, even as an individual player, because this is something that you've been working for towards your whole life. And who knows if he would get another chance to be on the U.S. team the next year. So and if the U.S. gets knocked out, he doesn't get a chance to play this game. So that's
Right.
Those are the things that are bothersome about the situation.
And they're pretty much an even push there, according to FanDuel, -110 between them and Belgium now. Some books have United States still as a slight favorite. I still think they'll win, but this was their leading goal scorer for the. I want to say he's got 4 goals for the United States in this tournament. So that's a big blow, man. He scored the first goal. I think the United States looked a little nervous in this game early on, didn't you think?
Well, one of the things that they've had issues with has been the back line, and then they have a decent goalkeeper, but still it's been the back line that is not. They got 2 good players in the back, but they need 4 good players. So, but what they did was what Pochettino does, the coach has done, is he made the U.S. team was a little bit more attack aware. So the guys in the back, there's 2 guys that can actually handle defensive modes, and then the other 3 guys or 2 guys, depending on how they switch out the back line, play defense, but they also can contribute the ball and can go in attack mode if need be. So that's kind of like how the Pochettino has been strategizing the U.S. team. So when teams attack the U.S., it looks like they're having a little bit of problem and they're uneasy, but the thing is that they're not defense heavy, as far as like the 2 players that they have play good defense, which is the captain Ream and or one of the other guys that play on the side of him. So but that was a strategy that they had, because they don't, as much as they're one of the most balanced rosters that they've had in the World Cup, this team does not have heavy defense oriented players, but the guys that they have back there play good defense. So
yeah. And you look at a team like Mexico and Spain, neither have allowed a goal in this tournament. So, like the sports writer said that I drove around, the soccer writer, 50 years, Mike, if they get to the quarterfinals, which means if they win this next game, that's considered a success in his opinion. That seems to be across the board of other media members that cover this on a regular basis, would essentially put United States in the Elite 8. That being said, hey, listen, you got to play the games. France looks good. Spain hasn't allowed a goal. I think that Mexico looks like that dark horse that people were talking about. What do you think about a team like Mexico? They look really impressive right now.
I think right now they're playing, but they're like the Seattle Seahawks in the playoffs. They're like leaning on that home base crowd, on that fan base, to give them that little extra edge, make the other team feel uncomfortable being playing on the field with them, and that's a good thing. But the problem is that you can only hold that for so long. You got to score goals, and they struggle in the second half putting things together. And they've come back a couple of times, and I'm not sure that any of the teams that didn't have to qualify for this tournament, because they're hosting Canada, U.S., and Mexico respectively. I wasn't putting them in the round of 16, but they've been able to do the solid and get there, and that's good for them. But I'm not. I didn't have them there, and in the top 8 in the round anyways. Passing going towards the round of 8. However, You know, I've been sad and kind of depressed because the team I thought that would be in the finals got knocked out, which is
Netherlands.
So,
did you pick Netherlands too?
Yeah, I picked the Netherlands versus Portugal as my final for the World Cup.
Yeah. You know, Colin Coward said he thought they were going to be the dark horse. I thought that was the most exciting game against Morocco. I had some Netherlands fans. I was giving them a ride the other day from the Netherlands, all jerseys on, but they didn't leave a tip. So I was pretty glad Morocco did not knock them out with the.
You got to understand these guys in the from other countries and all these people complain about tips. Listen, if you live off of tips, if that's what you really live off of, don't be in the service industry. You got to do your job, and you got to let me finish. You got to go 100%, and you'll get your tips, and eventually,
No, I think people
pay you for what you do. People do value you for who you are. Now, that's on the U.S. side. When you go to a foreign country, the prices, everything's included in the pricing.
Yeah, I gotta put the gratuity thing. You know, that feels a little. I should probably put that gratuity's not in there, but.
Yeah, you can put
if you post, cheap, man.
If you post that, people do. People from other countries do read. Like I've worked in bars, and you know me, I've worked in restaurants and stuff. And when I say, "Oh no, the gratuity is not included," some people would just kind of like look at me and be like, "Oh, then we really need."
You don't ask me a bunch of questions. I don't expect you to tip, but if you ask me a bunch of questions and stuff, and I help you with stuff. And you take a bunch of my mints that offer, yeah, you should tip. Okay, if I help you with your luggage, you should tip. You know, I'm not a bartender, I'm not a waitress or waiter, but if you do all this stuff, inspect handouts, yeah, you should tip. You know, I got 2 orders just last week, and I tipped on both of them. And they deserve a tip. They deserve a tip. You know, so the Netherlands fans, hey man. They didn't tip, so the hell with the other ones, go Morocco. That's all my thing is.
But that's another thing too. Is like we kind of glaze over whenever people go overseas. They're like, oh, there's no tips. All right, whatever. Like it's like not a big deal, because it's not hurting no one. But when it comes to us, and then we have to feel it, then we question like, hey, yo, why didn't you tip? But my thing has always been like, listen, Ian, we're from the school Hard Knocks. You work hard, you get paid for what you work, and you get paid. And sometimes people want to tip you, and you're like, oh no, man, there's no my job. Like when I worked at Home Depot, I wasn't allowed to take tips, but people wanted to tip me all the time, and I'm like, well,
the stewardess didn't want me to tip them.
Yeah,
they got a little offended, like the Angie the drinks in the airplane.
Right.
They didn't want you to tip them. Me, but I'm just saying, if you ask me 1,000 questions and ask me to do something, entertain you, yeah, you probably should tip. You
take my mints, just give me a tip.
I have to, use a lot of energy picking up other people.
Yeah.
And I just, I'm always going to call out people who don't tip. I know it is what it is, man. So. I should do a whole show on that. Really, that would be fun.
Yeah, listen, call it gratuity is accepted. Listen, I get you, man. Like we all work hard. We want to get what our money's worth.
They put the tip thing as soon as you get out of the car. They put tip, stars, everything like that. You should listen. You're not obligated to do it, but don't ask for a whole bunch of free stuff and then say getting irritated when I think you should. Yeah, I mean, by the way. Not to get too far off subject here, I picked up this lady and this guy this morning, and the audacity of these people, man. This woman brings a dog in my car, okay? 3 something a.m. in the morning. She brings a dog, not in a little, what do they call those?
Carriers.
Cradles or whatever?
Carriers, yeah.
Carriers or whatever with a little box thing. She's carrying this dog in my car, man. And they're taking forever. They got all this luggage. And I'm thinking, okay, dude, you've got to tip for this. It's not a service dog. It's not, and they don't even tip. The tips aside, you got to have that is the level of disrespect to bring a dog in, even though, hey, man, my dog's clean. My dog's just used the restroom. But this the idea that the dog may use the restroom in the car. It may take a dump in your car. It may urinate in the car. Knowing that we have other things to do is just the utmost high-level disrespect that I've ever seen in my life, man. Not the vent, but geez. And then the guy didn't even tip. Now, this was one of these high maintenance blonde chicks who he's carrying her luggage. He's meeting me at the gate. He's running back to her. And it's freaking 90 degrees even that early in the morning here. You know what I'm saying? And I'm thinking to myself, this woman is not worth it, dude. They kind of remind me of Alec Baldwin and Kim Basinger. We guys walking around with a sport coat on. It's like I said, 85, 90 degrees, 3 a.m. in the morning, trying to keep this lady satisfied. And the audacity of her just getting in my car, not even having that dog in a crate, man. Just unbelievable. They get no respect, man, like Rodney Dangerfield would say. And then he didn't tip. I thought he's got a tip for this, right? So, yeah, anyways. All right. Had to get that off my chest. Although it made a great story from other riders who did tip. I told them about that afterwards. I said, man, what a piece of crap. But anyways, all right, man. Yeah. So that being said, Morocco, great win. I saw the little headshot to tie the game up. That was a great game. I think that was the best game of the week so far since the last time we talked, other than the United States game. And
yeah, because the thing was that the Netherlands was going in there averaging 3 goals a game. So
yeah,
and they didn't get any, they didn't get that. So yeah, I mean, the World Cup is a good time to watch some of these. Even like right now going on, Croatia versus Portugal. That's you would think that's one of the quarterfinal games or something. So you're getting big games early in the early rounds, which is sometimes don't turn out that way, but it's been nice. It's been good.
Play to the end now. There's no more ties. I love that. One more gripe about the World Cup. I don't know why they do this, but what they'll do is they'll keep the clock running in the first half, no matter what happens. If it's a foul, whatever, and then you have stoppage clock after the other 45. So right. You think the game is over with at 45 minutes, the second 45? No. So why don't you just stop the clock like we do in all the other sports, then just let it play out through the other 45 minutes? They just do things different just to do things.
It's a different game, and this is just the way it's played in all the other leagues. And the reason you don't stop the clock is because it's always going to be 45 minutes, and there's really no commercials in this while the game is being played.
Oh, they have the hydration breaks now.
Right now they added that, and a lot of people are upset about that because then that adds that adds time to the 45 minutes, the extra stoppage time as well. So I look at it like this, because
you like this.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking to somebody who grew up playing the sport. I watch it. Like I'm a big fan of different teams and different leagues. It's part of the game. Like you don't want to stop the game. The game, once a player falls down, it's already aggravating as a fan because you're taking time away. You're taking the time and the position. You're messing up the rhythm of the game. So that's just something to be like, okay, it's a get back for both teams. Don't mess around. Get to playing a game. If you guys messed around or something happened, you scored a goal, you celebrated for 5 minutes, we're gonna put the 5 minutes back onto the clock once the 45 runs out. So the runoff time, the stoppage time added, I don't have any gripes about. The hydration time, I don't have any gripes about. I'm one of those guys who saw the game in 1992. They had a Confederation Cup right before they had a FIFA World Cup in France. Unless we saw a player pass out on the field and die.
The hydration thing is just smart.
So I like that.
Break too.
Even
if it is extra commercial.
The only problem, the thing I dislike about it, but it's just like if a player falls down and doesn't get up for 2 minutes, it does take away from the rhythm of the game. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's the hydration break is for both teams. So figure. I'm this kind of guy. You got to play all out. Whether it's the first half or second half. And if you don't score, that's not a fault of anybody but your own teams. Like you know what I'm saying? So, it's those fouls like the US got where he was a red card because both people were going for those kind of things are obnoxious. But the others, there's a lot of things about all sports that are obnoxious. And if you're not used to seeing it or it's something that you don't follow, then it can be annoying. But it's just part of the game,
Yeah, I hear you. Switching gears here. I still like the United States to get the win on Monday. Do you still like them? It's going to be tight losing a player like this.
I'm gonna be honest. Belgium is one of those teams that are on the down. Their players have peaked. They haven't done as well as other people would say they will. So the U.S. has a chance. They have a good opportunity to do it, to beat this team. However, it's not going to be a pushover game. So this game might end up going to penalties.
Penalty kicks, 1-0, United States. Okay. Hey, I'll take that. I'll roll with that as well.
They're the Red Devils for a reason there, Robert. They call them the Red Devils. So
The Red Devil.
that's the Belgium. The Belgian team. They're
called yeah. I think you're still kind of annoyed because I say go Morocco because of the – yeah, it was funny. Hey, man, you know what's really crazy? Jaylen Brown.
Oh, yes.
These stars – I'm going to tell this to the audience as well. I've never seen a week in the NBA where the team that traded the star got the worst deal. I mean, the team that's traded the star between Ja Morant, Jaylen Brown, Giannis Antetokounmpo, they all got the raw end of the deal, man. Jaylen Brown traded 3 years left on his contract. Excellent on-the-ball fender. Will be 30 in October. Let me look at his numbers. I want to say he's 22 points. And, I mean, just a rock-solid 22, 5 rebounds, 4.5 assists, averages between 72 and 68 games the last 4 years. He's solid. He shows up to work. He plays defense. I've got some bad news. I mean, there's some toxicity there between him and the organization. I get that. I understand that. But, folks, he was traded for Paul George, who's 36 years old.
Right.
6 years difference there. 41 games in the last year, 37 the year before that. $52 million left on his contract. Yeah, there's 2 years difference. Yeah, you got the 2 first and 2 seconds. That is, 2 picks in the 20s. And then you got the 2 second rounds. It's going to be in the 40s. What difference does that make? You're in the middle of a championship window. You got Mitchell Robertson. I think this is so bad, and that if Jaylen Brown is remotely successful, like if they get to the finals or win the finals or anything of that nature, this Philadelphia team, I think this could cost Brad Stevens his job. This could be a Nico Harrison, who's the guy who traded Luka Doncic to the Lakers. I think this could have that type of effect on the Boston Celtics, in my opinion. What's your thoughts about the Jaylen Brown trade to Philadelphia?
Yeah, when I heard about that, I thought that was a good pickup for Philadelphia. But I was thinking, if they're doing that, they should also, if this is the case, you have Maxey and then you should also move from Embiid. Like, he's the one that's holding you back.
Yeah.
So
they can't give away Embiid.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm Philadelphia, I'm talking to LA and I'm like, look, you can take Embiid for pennies on the dollar. Like, take him. Like, and then LA would be a better place because they already got Porzingis. He ain't gonna play 60 games. Embiid ain't gonna play 60 games. Put both of them on your roster, and you at least got a big guy all season long. Like, right? Like, and yeah, you got to pay these guys, but there's a lockout coming soon. These are all transactions. These are all like contracts that are ready to be disputed, and the union's gonna, for the team and for the league, and then the league representatives, they're all gonna go butt heads in a few weeks, months, and it doesn't look like a positive.
I don't even know when the next CBA is up.
It's coming up, and it's this next season coming up. It's either before the season or after the season. I can't remember. But I know it's this year for sure. It's this. So like
July of 2023 runs through the 29-30 season.
Yeah, but they're locking up contracts. Like, that's why they're making them 2 years, not 3 years. You know what I'm saying? They're locking up.
They can be exercised by the end of the agreement by early October of 2028. Yeah, that's 2 years. Okay. Yeah, that's something. Maybe that's a good thing.
You don't want to get stuck with the player, man. You don't want to get stuck with the player in a contract. You got to give him $20 million, and
yeah, this whole matching up the contracts, you should be able to cut a player and be able to eat some of that money and be
That'd
able
be
to
nice.
move on. I mean, Embiid is the only thing that's really holding back the 76ers. Folks, look at this lineup here. Let me see.
Robert, before you start the lineup, they can have 3 players with the amount they're playing Embiid right now. They can get 3 extra players.
Yeah.
Think about that. Go ahead.
And there's nothing they can do with this. I mean, you've got Tyrese Maxey, Edgecombe, he's been showing out lately. This VJ Edgecombe, I don't know if he's caught your eye. And then, of course, you got Jaylen Brown, Dean Wade they got from Cleveland. And, of course, Embiid, who you just can't give him away. That's just – you're right. You could probably play 3 players. Is this the era that we're in where it's more about depth and roster construction than just putting a bunch of superstars together, putting 2 highly paid superstars like a Wade and a Bosh and well, that'd be 3, I guess. But a Wade and a LeBron and a Bosh, or just sticking a couple of big, guys that you're playing max salaries to, like a Brown and a Jason Tatum. It seems like it's more spread out now, which is the way it should be. It should be more of a team game. I like this era. Do you think that's where it's going? I guess that's what you're saying, right?
Right. It's the not just contractual, but how these players also end up, like you said, syncing with each other, balancing out that roster. Whether you got depth or not, that's always going to affect you in the long run. And we're looking at a championship where if San Antonio, the championship run that the Knicks and the Spurs had, is the Spurs had a deeper bench, not just older guys with names, but like a deeper bench. This could have been an even more competitive type of situation that the Knicks would have had to go through. The Knicks were the ones that had the deeper bench, that had the roster with the guys that ended up playing when those guys were hurt. They got help because at the beginning of the season there was 3 players that were injured. So those guys that are on the bench, plus you added the trade deadline players, that was the possibilities that all went for the Knicks' favor. Now the teams are all looking like, well, the Knicks did it with 2 stars, maybe a third, but it just depends on how you look at it. Yeah, and the reason the Knicks did it, though, the reason they were able to do this is it was a season-long thing, run. It wasn't that it happened instantaneously. Plus they had just fired one of the best coaches in the NBA because he was given the award the year prior. So, yeah, Thibodeau. So, and to which, when he got fired and the Knicks got rid of 4 players, I was like, oh God, what are they going to do? They end up making the right moves. They did the interleague championship that they won. They were still missing 2 guys due to injury, which Deuce got hurt and what's his name got hurt. Mitchell Robinson was hurting a little bit, and then they got better during the season, and then they made the trade. Got the guy from Oklahoma.
Hartenstein.
No, they got what's his name?
Well, he's with that. Hartenstein used to play.
No. They got he was on Oklahoma. They picked him up, or he was on. He also played for Louisiana. What's this guy's name?
The Pelicans.
Yeah.
Randall?
No. I can't remember his name. The Puerto Rican guy from who played in Christ the King. Anyway, they got him and Shamet.
Yeah.
Adebayo? No, Adebayo. No, not Adebayo. What am I talking about? I can't remember his name right now, but they got the guy and also got Shamet. So they did good in the trade deadline, So and then the players ended up playing better and took them a while to get balanced and
you okay with Mitchell Robertson leaving? Do you think that's really?
I'm okay with him leaving. I'm not okay that he's going to Boston. Now, Nick should have made sure that if he was going to get traded, that he get traded outside of the conference, or even to the West, because it's the guy and it's harder. You're gonna have to see him like at least 6 games, 4 to 6 games, depending on how many times you play him in the season, and it's like, it hurts because you just won a championship with him. I mean, that's part of the business, but I thought that the Knicks would do a better job trying to move him to another team. A lot of teams could use Mitchell Robinson, to be honest with you, but if Boston's
everybody's paying for bigs. I mean, I'll bring it up the Lakers here in a minute, but they paid a big. They traded for a big. Hardenstein. I thought they might let him go in Oklahoma City after they drafted. What's his name? Adar, whatever. The big man from Michigan with the other big, the little super skinny guy. Can't remember his name now. But they've got 3 big,
Holmgren.
Who?
Chet Holmgren.
Holmgren, yeah, of course. The talented guy, but he's just, he's not physical at all. He's like straight big, but that's what teams are doing now. It's complete roster structure, and they're building to stop Wemby. They're seeing Wemby coming like a freight train in this league. And then, of course, you got Joker's a big who's very skilled. Listen, folks, Boston, this was a monumental mistake in my opinion. I thought they could have went after Aaron Gordon, man. And traded Gordon for Brown and maybe, get some more players out of it. This was huge. I'm telling you, what are your thoughts on maybe Brad Stevens getting fired for this?
Well, I think Stevens is in a good place right now. It's a good thing that he's not coaching anymore, because then he would have been gone quicker. Yeah. But you hit a huge point, and it's not just the whole Wemby thing. Even Dallas having that rookie coming out last year, Cooper Flag. Yeah, having Flag out there, that's another big guy that uses the whole court. He doesn't. You can't just be like put a guy on him and let him play defense under the hoop. No, this guy knows how to use the court. He knows how to move the ball. He knows how to move without the ball. So there are a lot of guys like that now that are coming out. Chet Holmgren, like you say, he's not physical, but he moves around. And he knows how to use the court.
He's 7th something, ain't he?
Yeah, so there's a few guys now, and incoming the Michigan center to the league. So there's there's the guy who they call the who's a Mexican American who's gonna try out on the Lakers. He played for St. Louis University. He's coming out there, and he can move.
Is that the guy with those glasses?
Yeah, with the goggles. Yeah, he can move. He knows how to play the game. He doesn't need the ball in his hand.
He looks like a friend of mine I went to school with, Kenny. I noticed you gave me a thumbs up, Kenny. That guy reminds me of you, brother.
Yeah, I mean, this guy, he's
that guy's skilled, man.
Yeah,
the Mexican guy. Oh, he's a Mexican American?
Yeah, and I'm just like there are a lot of big guys who are over 6'6", don't play the center position, and you have to build your team to try to play those guys, because they're not going to be physical and hanging out under the hoop. They're going to be going around, and they can shoot 3, or they can shoot the 15-footer like anybody's business. They can make passes, and so now they extend the court instead of making it shorter. They made it more wider. So you hit a good point, and it's not just a Wemby thing. So
well, Joker's a big too. Wemby's super skilled. And he's scary. What do you think about? We talked about Ja Morant last week. I mean,
and he got moved.
Is that dude? I hope he makes a comeback. I like Ja Morant. I have not given up on him. He's 28 years old. He's made 2 All-Stars. He gets traded for Jeremy Grant, he's 32 years old.
Yeah.
And then a role player, no draft picks. You talk about a giveaway. This is like a win. You talk about a win-win for Portland, but an awful trade for Memphis. Geez, I would have at least tried maybe, same thing with Jaylen Brown. Try to run these guys to the trade deadline at least, if you can't get anything right now. What's your thoughts on that one? And I got to remind the audience about some of the criticisms of Jaylen Brown. But go ahead.
Yeah, well, the Ja Morant thing, it was just done. They didn't worry. I guess they were so worried about him being on the roster next year that they wanted to make sure he wasn't on the roster next season. I don't think they was looking at it like a loss. And to be honest with you, it's not really a loss, because you have space. You have the G League guys that are down there. You can probably move a couple of those guys before the seasons come up. Pick up some players that will actually probably step it up. Being in Memphis, it's an opportunity for players to grow. unlike other places. So, in that retrospect, they just got rid of a contract. They got rid of not just a contract, but the player himself was. We talked about him last week. He just had a lot going on, and you want him to be focused on basketball. You don't want him to be focused on other things that could be happening. Him going to Portland. Listen, it's not a bad move. It's not a bad move, Portland, but are you going to allow John Morant to be John Morant and let him play like John Morant played? Or are you going to try to put him in the system and screw this guy's career? That to me, that's the only thing I'd be worried about if I was John Morant and if I was a coaching staff and if I were John Morant. Those are two things you're going to let me play, or do I got to be in a system that I don't even like? I saw it last year and I don't think it was good. You don't already want friction coming in, right? So
Well, they got him with Scoot Henderson, with the center Donovan Cleveland and Denny Ajadova. I can't pronounce. I don't know any of these guys hardly, except for Scoot Henderson. That being said, it's better than Jeremy Grant. That's an upgrade. That is. Right. I would like to have seen him go to Miami or Detroit, preferably. But it just didn't work out. None of those contenders wanted him. I mean, I think he's the lowest stock. I mean, I think he's a straight buy now at this amount of money. But, hey, listen, going back to Jaylen Brown, listen, there's been criticisms of Jaylen Brown, man, that he's toxic in the locker room right now. This is not just Colin Cowherd, but this is one little nugget here on him. He says, I've had 2 NBA sources in the league, one executive, one scout said that Jaylen Brown, it's a disease. He suddenly thinks he's the smartest guy in every room he's in. You make a lot of money. Suddenly you're absolutely sure you don't want to listen to your bosses. You don't want to listen to consultants. You don't want to listen to teammates. It seems like that management's lost him there. I don't know if that's – I'm like you. I don't know. I mean, listen, it's been rumored they wanted to trade him a few years ago for Kevin Durant. I can see where he may feel shorthanded. Plus, analytics say they win more games without him, percentage-wise. If you want to lean – and you know how Brad Stevens is and those analytics. They're married to him, and they shoot too many threes. This is why I think that he could be – listen, he's been there a while. He could get fired for this. He's not fireproof.
Right.
What do you think about those criticisms of playing a little devil's advocate? Why they really just felt like they needed to get rid of Jaylen Brown?
I think the problem is that Jaylen Brown is probably smarter than some of those people making those decisions. And I don't say it in a mean way. I say like educational wise. When you're an educated man like that, and you're playing a sport, and then you're just like, well, you try. The problem is to try to make the sport itself, NBA basketball, to try to compare it to real work situation. And it's hard because the sport has different dynamics, and sports business has a different dynamic than a tech business does, and than a restaurant business would, than any other business has. And so when you're a smart person like he is, and he's thinking of maybe his future and how to benefit from being on a basketball team wherever he's at, I'm sure he probably sits there like, I don't want to listen to any of this stuff, and I just want to make sure that my career, that myself is in a good position, not just financially, not just on the team, but also be able to win. Right now, those things are hard to come together, man. And if you're an educated person, right, and you're thinking about your future, not just the now, it is kind of like off-putting. It's very off-putting. Michael Jordan was one of the worst players to be around. Kobe Bryant was one of the worst players to be around. Dr. J was one of the worst players to be around because they want to win. Yeah. They didn't just think about money. They wanted to also win and have their brand, have their persona be effective. So you hear these things about locker rooms not being because these guys.
Well, he liked a post that said he was underappreciated on Instagram. He knows he's verified. He knows that will get out. I think it's good to move on. I just wish he wouldn't have went to Philadelphia. I'd like to see him go to Denver. But You got to be annoyed, though, if you're Boston Celtics. I was okay with them moving on, just not to a rival for peanuts.
But here's the thing, and this is what I'm not a huge Jason Tatum fan.
Yeah,
but I've been learning how to appreciate him as if he's been winning the championship after he's been won the championship, and like last year wasn't on the team. This guy is godsend for Boston, and I say it in a sense where he doesn't say much. He's very quiet. Keeps to himself. But he puts the work in and he gets the work out, and he's the face of the franchise. And all this stuff is going on with this teammate, and I'm sure he wants to keep him, right? I'm sure he's like, well, but where's the balance in that, right? Where's the balance of power in that? So I think that he didn't fight for Brown because he saw that he didn't have anything to fight for when Brown was able to take the team to the playoffs, and Jason Tatum wasn't on that roster because of his injury. So he didn't have a leg to fight on. Now, Jason Tatum's a superstar on the team. So, you're talking about, Stevens and like all these guys making decisions. This is why I say Brown was probably the smartest guy there. He took advantage of the situation and he moved, and now he's gonna get a bigger contract. But the only thing is, I'm not sure if he's going to get the opportunity to win. And I think that's where, like you said, I think that's where he's going to fall short.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. Philadelphia is going to be good. This is a great trade. You trade a 36-year-old Paul George and some late picks for a guy that's going to give you a 3-year window. Even if you just said, we're going to build around Maxey and Brown. And whatever we can do with Embiid's contract. By the way, as a side note, Memphis gave Portland $1 million and John Morant. Just get this guy out of town.
Out.
Take Jeremy Grant and this role player. I forget, Avery something. The guy's just a role player. No picks. We'll pay for the bus ticket. We'll pay for the moving truck. Memphis is just
free FedEx shipping for the next 2 seasons.
Priority mail, man.
Anything you want, ship for free. Just get this guy out.
Please clean this guy's locker room. We want no more of the John Morant. And you're right, they're going to build around Cam Boozer. I just wish they would have got draft picks, man. If you want to go that direction, that's fine. But just don't take a bunch of players like that. But I guess they're trying to clean up their cap and, do that, go that,
I remember when they got Powell and they were building around him, and they had a playoff team.
Powell Gasol, yeah.
They had a playoff team. And then that fell apart because they couldn't get players.
But then they got Mark and then Zebo.
Yeah.
Zach Randolph.
And then they got Mark. And they were trying to build around him, and then they couldn't get over the hump and because of the injuries. And so it was like those 2 periods of Memphis basketball, man, it was very exciting. And that's what you see now from like Orlando. You've seen that from Orlando. You've seen that from Charlotte. Yeah. These teams, man, it's very difficult to get over that hump, to get over that,
Maybe it's a different story in 3 to 5 years from now when Boozer's really coming into his own and he turns into another Tim Duncan, for all we know. Not saying that, just saying possibly. If you're a Memphis fan, that would be a possibility. By the way, we talked about LeBron before. The basketball world, and air quotes, act so surprised that the Lakers really wanted to move on from LeBron. LeBron says, well, you know what? I just want to move on from the Lakers. Really, the Lakers wanted to move on from LeBron. They didn't want to insult him because they got to deal with Rich Paul.
So they don't want the insult of saying
they wanted that cap open. They don't need an older guy that's wanting to control things, man.
That's the problem. It's all business, right? The Lakers don't want to be like, we can only give you $5 million. I know you want 8 to 10. And he's going to be like, I don't want 10. I want 20 because I'm the face of the league. And so that's the problem right there. That's the biggest issue. And the Lakers are like, we need players. We need to build our roster up. And I don't know if you can guarantee us a win. So it was, listen, the way they did it was amicable. I like it. I know it's business.
Yeah.
Anything LeBron chooses to do, wherever he wants to go, he'll probably get to be at. I think he should either go back to Miami or Cleveland. And somebody was saying the Knicks should call him. Like, no, the Knicks should not call him.
The Knicks, there is some interest from the Knicks. That's what I've heard as well. You don't think the Knicks I think he might mess up that chemistry there. Yeah.
Not even the chemistry. It's just we have the star power and celebrities like in the.
So you're saying it would mess up the chemistry.
And that star power is already there, so they don't need to do anything else. The team itself needs to actually get younger instead of trying to get older. The more and more players you put over the age of 30, the less of a week they can play of basketball in a playoff. How about that?
Yeah.
So stop thinking about selling at this point. You won a championship, you can sell anything. Look, the Knicks have been selling tickets to the Garden to fans overpriced and haven't won anything for 50 years. You think they need to bring a LeBron James to make?
No. I mean, so you would be out on them going to Golden State as well?
Look, I wouldn't mind seeing him in Golden State. I wouldn't mind seeing him in the Lakers. I wouldn't mind seeing him go back to Cleveland. Just don't touch New York. Don't touch Brooklyn. Just go on your merry way. Stay out of New York. Another thing is, he's a businessman. He's not naive enough to realize that if he goes to Brooklyn or New York, how much taxes he's gonna have to pay on what he makes.
Yeah.
So instead of like asking for 20 million, he's got to ask for 25, 30 million. Come on, man. No.
Well, he's saying he would take the league. There's some sources are saying he'll take the league minimum now to go to a contender. Well, that's fine, but I wouldn't go to Golden State. That's the AARP team of the NBA.
He could solidify a team like Detroit.
Yeah.
Like Detroit needs a player that's consistent, and his leadership can give K.
Well, they lost Tobias Harris. I'm sure they could find a way to squeeze him in.
Yeah, I think a team like Detroit, if he wants to go to a contender, a team like Detroit.
I still say he should go to Miami, man. I think that'd be interesting.
The only problem,
play the point forward.
I heard somebody say, "Yo, LeBron, I don't want to be rude, but you still owe us championships because you didn't say not 1, not 2, not 3. You went all the way to say 9, and he owes Miami like what?
You got to get up to 3 now.
4 championships.
I would love to see him go to Miami. As I mentioned on Tuesday's program, I think he should lower his minutes. He's at 33 average. I think he needs to get down to about 24. You can still start him, but just, keep him around that last 5 to 7 minutes in the fourth quarter. That's usually when all these games are decided. We know he's only going to play about 50 games. The guy's 42. I mean,
listen, or even if he went to a team like Indiana, man, like that would. He needs to do
I doubt he'd do that.
I know, but Indiana's a great fan. They have a great fan base.
Minnesota, he'd be a good stabilizer in Minnesota with those 2 wild kids there in LaMelo Ball and Anthony Edwards.
I think if LeBron goes to Minnesota, it'd be like Jordan going to the Wizards. 2 crazy young bucks, and then him.
Much more talented team, though, than that Wizards team, man. I mean, Stackhouse had some hype, but this team has been in the Western Conference semifinals, have been in the Western Conference Finals.
The problem is that you're telling LaMelo to not shoot 25.
Well, second thought, he might not want to babysit a LaMelo Ball.
That's what I'm saying. Like you're gonna have to tell LaMelo, and you're gonna have to tell what's his name,
Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards, hey, listen, you got to pass me the ball. I can dunk.
Get out of my way, old man. Yeah. I love Anthony Edwards. I hope they get it going there. This is funny, man. Okay, so the Lakers, they re-sign Austin Reeves. They get this Wessler guy, this big man. They're doing what they're supposed to. They got a center to play defense and rebound. When I saw a picture of their potential starting 5 or their big 3, they're pretty pale white dudes. And, when we were kids, when you seen 3 white guys, you think slow guys, Yeah. So Stephen A. Smith, as we predicted, I got to play this quote here. If I can play it. It's very funny. You got the Actually, Emmanuel Acho, who I'm not agreed with him a lot, he says he called Stephen A. out for this. If I can get it, folks, I'll play it. It's very funny. I know he's kidding around halfway, but hey, listen, we're not in the world we used to be in. You got guys like Christian McCaffrey, he was one of probably the best running back in the NFL at one time. I mean, he was the best dual threat player in the NFL. You've got a lot of guys that, black quarterbacks, whatever, they're lead the league in passing yards or whatever. They'll win in the Super Bowl. But here, listen to Stephen A. This is funny.
Somebody had to say it, so I'm saying.
Hold on.
This is the number to call. I just got to say it, yo. Where the hell the Los Angeles Lakers think they going with a bunch of white dudes?
So, hey, listen, they're leaning more into the analytics. They just happen to be white. What do you think about the new Lake Nixon? They got new ownership. This is not a mom and pop franchise no more. My only gripe is, my only criticism is Luka's he's got to stay healthy the whole season. This team's going to get better. And, of course, they still got Jared Vanderbilt. He could still be in the starting lineup. He's not a white guy. So, good defender, too. They'll be better defensively. What's your thoughts about that and the new look Lakers overall without no LeBron?
They should go out and pick up Kuminga. I mean, they need to get some guys in there that are a little bit younger. I think the Luka move was good for Dallas.
Luka's a young guy, man.
He's not.
They got rid of Westbrook. They got rid of LeBron. Yeah. They got rid of Anthony Davis.
Luka was younger than them, but Luka was playing in Europe for 3 or 4 years as a professional before he even started in the NBA. So, and those things matter because that's wear and tear on your body. And he it's not like he got a 2 or 3 years.
I hope he doesn't do that again this year. I hope that he does not play for overseas again this offseason. And he did not do that last year. I think sometimes when a guy
because he was hurt.
Yeah, but he does not need to do that. He's 27. Yeah. He'll be 28 in February.
And mind you, they don't play the huge 114 or 120 whatever games they play now in the NBA. But they still play hard and they still go hard at it and they still play.
That should be against his contract to do that.
No, I'm saying I was talking about before. He came in the NBA, he played hard games, competitive games in Europe, not including the Olympics. So if you include the Olympics, then you could. It's just he's not that age in basketball age. He's older, so I feel like if I was the Lakers, the moves that they're making are okay, but also bring in some younger guys who were championship winners in college basketball.
They don't have any draft picks for 7 years. I mean, so this new ownership is slowly cleaning up the mess that Jenny Buss and her people made.
And Pelinka made.
A minute. But Luka's got to remain in shape. He's got to watch his minutes. I do think the fact that it's his second year there, his second year being in shape like he was, I think he's going to have a much better – you don't want LeBron's hand on that team. You don't want him controlling J.J. Redick. You don't want him pushing management to make certain trades and all that. You want management to do that stuff, Look at your guy, Leon Rose. Look at Sam Presti. I mean, it's 80%, man. It's 80% player personnel people. Now, you look at Brad Stevens – he's going to get the blame for this. Yeah, and you also take the heat for that too if it goes the other way. Look at Derrick Rose. He got fired.
You mentioned Rose here in New York, and I was not on that boat, man. I was like, I don't.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure about him either.
I was like, and I'm not going to lie, like I'm here, and I always say it, but when I was wrong, but I think the Villanova 4, the 3, whatever it ended up being, Villanova 3, then. What that ended up doing was, and I was against it.
Major gamble. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a huge, exactly. And I was against it because I was like, man, these guys aren't in college anymore. They're older men. And so, and they want to go away from being championship. You want to be a championship in NBA. You don't want to be like, I was a college champion. like it's not that it's a bad thing. It's just if you're a winner, you want to just keep winning as you get older. You want to win other things, and you don't want to be known as that. I won in college, because then at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, okay, so did you win in the NBA? So that's why everybody's going to question your legacy or whatever. So that's how I was like not sure about that whole situation, and it ended up working. But that was a gamble, like you said, and so what are the Lakers? What can the Lakers' new ownership do? Is you put up with what you got, because you ain't got much to work with, but you got a $1 billion business. You're gonna make money no matter what.
It's the same ownership that owned the Dodgers, and they're doing pretty good, man.
They're going to be okay because
I got 2 world champions.
They're going to be because it's part of the Magic team and the whole the guys. They're going to be okay because they still have people in there that know about basketball, that know about championship. People like Magic Johnson, and those guys are still part of the exec team. So I think give them 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
I don't think just because they have Luka, they're just going to be right in there. Just like giving Dallas Cooper Flag, I don't think just because you have Cooper Flag, you're going to go straight to a playoff run. Like these are things that have to happen. That they
have to get the pieces around them. And I'm still shocked that Dusty May took that job, but we'll see. Maybe Cooper Flag does work out, and maybe the pieces around him work out. I do like Lively. If Lively can stay healthy a whole season, those are 2 pieces I know that can work. Cooper Flag and Derek Lively. So
I feel like now there's a little bit more in NBA basketball. There's going to be a little bit more of a balance and a little bit more like what the NFL is, a little bit more parity. So
it's good. I like it.
Yeah, it was like the West for like 10 years, bro. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah. We have 8 straight champions. Anything else you need to plug?
Man, it's hot in New York. If you got the opportunity, do not come to New York. No, I'm just kidding. No, listen. This World Cup is made. I'm happy for all the fans that came to New York.
Yeah,
we appreciate you. I'm sorry that it's a mess, because it is a mess up here. People are staying in New York and they're traveling to New Jersey, and it's become a little bit more expensive than they thought it would. But I'm glad that they made the trip. I'm glad they supported their country. This is a great tournament every 4 years. It's not every day. Listen, you back your team, and if they fall, then the tournament's still there, and then just have fun with it. And baseball is going on right now. These basketball is going to start the summer league soon. You got the
big 3
game break coming up for baseball.
Yeah, I didn't even get to the WNBA stuff. Maybe we'll talk about that next week with the Caitlin Clark getting drilled. And go ahead. By the way, I talked about that. Sophia Cunningham, she's an internet meme in her own right.
Oh my gosh!
I didn't get to Taryn Arnold's story. I just think there's not enough topics when this World Cup is so big right now.
Yeah, and I just want to say real quick to end with the WNBA. Listen, those kind of things are going to happen, and that all it does is feed into what you'd be missing if you don't watch a WNBA game. Like they're just as good as players as the men. They play different. They have a different support system, and as men, it's hard to watch women leagues, women in college, but it's still competitive. It's still ultra competitive, and I feel like those things need to happen so more women can go out and support women's sports, and it not just be men having to try to carry that because it's sports, right? Like, and that's good, and especially for the younger generation.
Yeah, something, and I'll try to get back to that once this other stuff calms down, the World Cup calms down, and then free agency kind of settles in. We'll get back to those storylines. I know Asia Wilson's having a great season, well of a player. Clark is my whole take on her, man. They got to win more, man. I mean, they want to be relevant. I mean, we like what you did in college. I know you're a 7 seed. We know you're getting roughed up, getting singled out. At the end of the day, you got to start winning some more games and get playoffs and to be more relevant. In my opinion, none of the other media wants to say that. They just want to wave the flag about, hey, listen, I like her and everything, but I'm all about winning, man.
Yeah, that's why I think the Liberty have always set themselves up to be like not just contenders, but to be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Not just to be
And they're
competitive.
in the playoffs if it started. It's still early in their season.
Yeah, no, but I like that they're always got depth. They might have one or two great players or good players, but then they have that depth where they
Indiana or the
oh,
Lakers?
no, the Liberty.
The Liberty.
So, yeah, they keep putting themselves in positions to be always contending, which is awesome.
All right. Well said, Mad New Yorker, everybody. Appreciate you coming on, buddy. Have a good night, man. And everybody, please, if you have not subscribed to the program, you saw I've got my decals out there. Subscribe at the Real Sports Scope YouTube channel or everywhere you may see at the Real Sports Scope. You know the logo. Have a good week, everybody. I will see you probably Monday or Tuesday. Check local listings, and I'll make announcements when I'll be live again. So see ya. Have a good one. Go United States.